Hello, everyone. This is our World Book Day special coming from the Lush High School. On set today, I have 6 amazing young stars. They're going to be doing us book reviews of books they have recently read or read in the past. I have quite a number of them here. Like I said, there's 6 of them, and they'll do very brief introductions. The first person will be
Oshoma, grade 7.
Ikora, grade 10.
Montel, grade 10.
Flowers, grade 9. August, grade 10.
Dinam, grade 9.
Okay, thank you very much, young man. So the very first person I'll be asking about our book is Oshoma. Oshoma, how are you today?
I'm great.
You're great, good. Oshoma, what book have you read in recent times?
Things Fall Apart.
Things Fall Apart. Wonderful. Interesting literature piece, I guess. Who's the author of Things Fall Apart?
Chinua Achebe.
Chinua Achebe. You mixed that up.
Oh,
Chinua Achebe. Okay, who is the main cast of that book?
Main cast, Okonkwo.
Okonkwo. Are you not from Nigeria? What's Okonkwo? It's Okonkwo. Okonkwo is the main cast. What's it about Okonkwo? What's unique about his person?
He was not as a popular man because of his strength because he fitted the cat because I think the cat is something like a very powerful man or human or animal because it's great because of his great strength. I don't know what happened at 5. I didn't see that there cause it didn't say that in the book.
Okay.
So
Okay, is there any other person that knows much about Okonkwo that can tell us about what was unique about Okonkwo?
He was a very ambitious man.
Okay.
Very ambitious. He put his mind to something, he would do it. And the cat was a wrestler. He was a very strong wrestler, known everywhere. And the fact that Okonkwo beat him was the first. He's the first person to actually put him on his back. You know, cats on one of their backs.
Yeah.
That's what they call him, the cat. And Okonkwo was the first to do that. So actually, people kind of recognize him for that. You could obviously see his great strength and all. But I think he was a tad bit too ambitious.
Okay. Thank you so much, Augusta, for expatiating on Okonkwo for us. Okay. Quickly, Montel, what book have you read in recent times?
Soaring with Eagles.
Soaring with Eagles. Tell us about the book. Who is the author of the book Soaring with Eagles?
The author of the book is Bill Newman.
Bill Newman. Okay. What genre of literature would that be?
It's more of a prose.
More of prose. More of spiritual prose. It's a spiritual book, right? Tell us about Soaring with Eagles, Bill Newman.
Soaring with Eagles is more of motivating man to be like the eagle, because the eagle is the only bird that goes to the highest extent of the sky. The eagle is usually used to represent boldness.
Okay.
The book is more of motivating people to be like the eagle, to get to its extent, its strength. Having the mindset of the eagle, not fear. For one to come up, not to be more of a timid person, to get to higher heights. Because today we see most young people, even mature people, they feel intimidated. The eagle isn't and want to be like the rest. The eagle doesn't want to be like the rest birds.
Okay.
It wants to go on higher heights.
Okay.
It doesn't want to remain on the same level that those others want to be. Eagles always want to get higher. So the book is more of motivating people to go higher, not to be on that same level, try and increase themselves, to build themselves. And once one is like as the character, the abilities of an eagle, one is likely to gain more respect from people and has a higher tendency of making it in life.
Okay. Thank you. That's a very good book. Keep up the good work for motivating yourself to want to stand out. Price, will you tell us the book you've read in recent times?
Yes, and the book I've read in recent times is God Gave the Song by Kathleen E. Kovacs.
Okay, what's the book about?
The book is about a young orphan called Sky, who is actually in his mid-40s. So Sky now was actually called by his mother's lawyer.
Okay.
Because his mother abandoned him, so he was called by his mother's lawyer to come and oversee her ranch, her Africa ranch. So
he was reluctant, and since he hasn't seen his mother for a long time, so he went. As he went, his
Continue. Keep talking.
his
I can
mother's
hear you.
half son, now Paul, was one who took him to the Apocar ranch. So, and his mother's friend Ruthane was also there. As Sky went there, he was facing different battles, whether to forgive his mother for abandoning him.
Okay, what genre of book is this book?
A fictional prose.
Okay, fictional prose. Okay, good. Nice one. What are the striking lessons you think you would have gathered from reading God Gave the Song?
Well, I actually learned that you should learn to forgive. That when you forgive, even if sometimes the people don't want to forgive you or just still holding it onto it, at least it will actually be better for yourself because you actually feel peace at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you so much, Perez. Okay, Dinam, what book have you read in recent times? Will you tell us about the book you've read?
The book I would like to tell us about is titled Faith, The Key to Unlimited Possibilities.
Okay,
It's a non-fictional spiritual book, and it is written by Dr. David O. Oyedepo. This book shows us that without faith we can achieve nothing, and that faith is the act of believing for things, whether seen or unseen. And without faith, we shall only receive what life brings us and not what we want. And like the saying says, life isn't fair, so whatever life brings for us is what we will get. But with faith, we can achieve anything and get anything we want, because faith is a heritage from the kingdom of God. Faith lets us activate the blessings of God, and faith lets us communicate with God fluently. For God is proud of us when we activate in faith. We know that faith pleases God, because it says that because the Bible says that that without faith it is impossible with God. With all this, with that book, I now know that I have to have faith to be a great man of God. For it isn't only ambition, stubborn persistence, or curiosity that there is, but instead faith. And without having the things I need, I may not be able to face life, for it's only what life brings to me that I will receive. And now I know that I can achieve anything with faith.
Thank you very much. Very, very much. Okay. While we're bringing this to a close quickly, Officer, will you tell us about the book you have read in recent times?
Oh, okay. I read a book called The Castle of Otranto.
Okay.
It's kind of an ancient literary work, very old. It was published in 1764,
Wow,
written
that's a
by
long time ago.
Horace Walpole. He's dead. So he read the book.
Of course, he should be dead.
So yeah, he wrote the book. It's a really nice book. I like the book because of its ancient setting. I really enjoy books like that. It's about.
Were you raised by your grandmother? Why do you like books in ancient settings?
I don't know. It just gives me kind of like I don't know, like I wasn't there, but I'm kind of seeing it through a window.
Okay.
So I enjoy reading it.
Okay.
So the book is about this lord. He's a lord in his castle, of course. And here he wants his son to rule after him.
Okay.
But his son's a sickler.
Wow.
So he wants his son to get married.
Sickler. What do you mean sickler? Genotype SS?
Yeah, SS.
Or very, very sick. Always sickly.
He's an SS.
SS. Okay.
So he wants him to get married before he,
Okay.
eventually
So let me
passes on.
digress a little. I just want to digress a little. We are science students.
Yes.
And we do science. What gives birth to the SS gene in children? Can anyone tell me briefly? Okay, Dinam.
Different forms of the carriers of the SS gene. It may be SAS or even SS itself in the chromosome of every parent of a child. So when two SS or two AS come together, definitely one of their children, depending on the amount of children they have, one of their children may have SS. So SS comes from the gene, from the chromosomes in the child that the child carries from the parents, 26 each. So depending on if a parent is AS and another parent is AS, they get married, they have a child. One of their children may be AS, not all, maybe all, maybe not all, but most likely one of their child may be SS.
Okay, thank you so much, Dinam. So also you may continue.
Alright, back to the story. So, as he said, he is SS genotype. And the father wanted him to rule because he was his favorite son. he had a daughter, but he never really paid much mind to her. He didn't pay much mind to her. His wife, he always maltreated the females in the castle,
Okay.
most likely. So he wanted him to get married. So he got a princess from another kingdom, Isabella. She came to the castle to get married to his son. On the day of the wedding, the son was killed.
Wow.
No one know. It was a very
now the son
mysterious
was
thing.
killed. The son was killed in a literary work. When somebody dies like that, what do we refer to that as in literature?
It's technically called a mystery novel because some people kill and they die.
Is it a mystery novel? There's a terminology. It's a tragedy. That's the terminology. Yes, you did
But
well.
this book isn't really based on a tragedy.
Yeah,
It's
it is not based on a tragedy, but that's a tragic happening.
Yes,
and I
that's a
wanted
tragic
to get
occurrence
that
in the book.
literally.
I think it's tragic comedy because there's tragic first, but I think there's comedy second, or there's going to be more comedy. I think.
No, this is not comic.
It's not comic. It's
not
actually very gothic.
Yes.
It's a dark book.
Okay.
So when I read it, I was a little bit. It was kind of, I don't know. You got this feel from me when you read it. So yeah, he dies, and his death was very mysterious. But the cause of his death was even more mysterious than his death on its own, because a gigantic helmet was what crushed him. So he was like a serious rave over the castle. Everyone was like, "What happened?" He was like struck because like that's my only son, and he died. Who's going to take over? So being the Lord, he's very greedy and covetous. He wants everything. That's how he is. So he wants to carry on his dynasty. So what he did was that he decided he was going to get married to the princess himself.
Okay.
The wife was completely torn. He said he's going to divorce her and get married to the princess. What really happened was that he's not really the lord of that entire kingdom. He's not the lord. He's not the rightful heir.
Oh wow.
He's not. The real heir, it was taken over.
Oh, okay.
So it came back, but by a servant. No one knew who he was. His name was Theodore. And it turns out he was actually the real heir to the throne. And people were warning him, but he didn't really listen. He was greedy and
So what genre
proud.
of literature will we classify our book as? What genre of literature do we think this book falls?
Very fictional.
Fictional prose,
I think I'll call it gothic fantasy.
gothic fantasy.
Yeah.
But it's got a bit of mystery in it.
Yeah,
too.
and mystery too. There's a lot of mystery because it has a lot of themes.
Yes, it's got a lot of themes, as I can see. It's got a lot of themes. Okay, it's a rich book and it's dark.
Very.
It's all right.
I got it from my
Okay.
sister.
It's all right. It's good to know that you are broadening your scope. Finally, this has been an interesting one for me. Ikara, can you tell us the book you've read in recent times?
Okay, the name of the book I've read was Mysterious Incidents at Lone Rock.
Oh, another mystery book.
And the author of the book is Randra Pillai.
Okay.
And I think the aim of this book is to show us how diverse mystery books are. And so this book is about a professor who met a Hindu detective named Chini. And he himself, the professor, has been trying to turn this Hindu into a Christian.
Okay.
But the Hindu has not been able to see any reason why the Christian, he as a Hindu, should turn into a Christian. Wow. Later on, the professor and Chini go on a vacation to the professor's friend's apartment, which the friend just acquired. And I think I don't really can't remember her name, but he went there, and the place was Lone Rock. Lone Rock is a place, and so they were there, and it was like a get together for friends. There were different friends that had come to the place. The woman herself had issues before. She had long issues. She had stayed with different people, had her own personal issues, but she didn't tell anyone, even her close friend, the professor. He didn't really tell him much. So they entered the place, and among the guests there was a guy. His name was Melvin. He had a wife, and his wife was scared of him, very scared of him. She was very, very sure he wanted to kill her, because he was an arrogant man who hated everybody. He saw a problem with everybody, and soon everybody had a problem with him. So this made him a person that something was soon going to happen to him, because everybody hated him. Even people that had just met him, even the professor and Chini, they had just met him, and he had already given himself a bad impression. Always doing very harsh. He always smoked cigarettes. He was a very, very harsh person. So the night of their stay, he had already shown what he was. His wife had already explained to Chini and Professor that they should please find out whether her husband wanted to kill her. He was very, very rude man. He always hit his wife. Was very angry, very harsh. And so that night they all went to sleep. He went to sleep early after he had caused a lot of chaos in the place. He went to sleep, and then in the middle of the night, around 1 o'clock,
1 a.m.
1 a.m. they had heard a scream, and then most of them rushed to the room. They found it was in Mr. Melvin's room, and when they came, they saw Mr. Melvin lying down dead. Mr. Melvin was dead, and his wife was holding the gun. But the thing was that she was in shock. She literally passed out. And if you look at the room.
So, question is, who killed Mr. Melvin?
That's a.
Wow, thank you very much, Ikara. The story was getting very, very long. Very interesting. This has been an interesting session. Thank you so much, every one of you. It's been amazing. Amazing book reviews from my youngsters. I'm very proud of each and every one of you. I think we'll do this some other time. Thank you. This is our World Book Day edition 2021 from high school. Thank you all. See you around.